with a layout for the Shotz design team. It is March, so that means it's time for a new challenge. Every month they have a new challenge over on the Facebook group. It's Shotz paper crafting. I'll leave the link down below so you can come and join in on all the fun. There really is a ton of amazing talent and inspiration, so it's worth checking out. But you can play along with the challenge. Every month they're a little bit different, and the album always ends up full of really beautiful inspiration. So it's definitely worth it. And so for the month of March, we are focusing on handwriting, which you can take in so many different directions. You can use handwriting, right on your layout, in your journaling and that type of thing. You can focus on maybe going through your stash and pulling out bits and pieces that have handwriting on them. So, kind of that cursive look or a handwritten look as opposed to something that looks like it's been typed. Hidden journaling is really fun. Doodling or kind of like writing your own words to create maybe a background, stamps that look like they've been handwritten. What else? Anything really, just, handwriting in a way that maybe you don't normally do. So as we all know, I don't often journal on my layouts. I do a lot of layouts where I don't put anything, maybe just a date, but that's about it. So I'm really going to challenge myself this month to actually journal on every single layout that I create. That is going to be my challenge for this particular layout. I'm kind of combining a whole bunch of things just to kind of launch the challenge and hopefully inspire people to do a few different things, kind of take it in a few different directions, but it's completely open to you to interpret it however you'd like. And yeah, just have fun with it. I am a big believer in, at some point, some way, somehow, actually leaving your own handwriting on something that you've created to kind of just complete your legacy of all these projects. I think it's really interesting to see my grandparents' handwriting and, family and stuff like that. And I think that future generations will want to see yours. So even if it's, writing something, but it's hidden and only people who might actually be opening up these albums and pulling layouts out and stuff, only, things that those types of people would find, I think that's great. But no matter what you think of your own handwriting, down the road, people will think it's really, really cool. So don't be shy. Don't worry about it. You're probably a much bigger critic of your handwriting than anybody else will be. Go for it and get some handwriting onto your layouts. And so I'm going to do it in a few different ways. I'm going to do some journaling, and then I'm also going to create a border, a handwritten border around my layout. And then I am going to go through my stash, and I've pulled out a couple of things that kind of have that handwritten cursive look to them that I can just use to embellish and kind of really emphasize the handwriting portion of this challenge. So I am pairing all of that with 30 days of sketches. It is series 14. I know every single time this happens, I can't believe the number that we're at. But yes, series 14. That is so incredible. And it never gets old. That's the thing. Every single sketch is unique and different, and it's really fun to play along. And every time I do say this is going to be the month that I do all 30, or in this case, I think there is a bonus 31. And I never do, but I always give myself that challenge because I always feel bad if I don't do somebody's sketch because they're all so good. And I want to be able to participate and have fun using every sketch. So We're starting off with day one, and here is where you kind of take the sketch and then you get inspired by it and you just roll with what works for you. So because these photos are from 2022, that album for me is an 8.5 by 11 album. And so I knew I had to cut my papers down. And I also have here 7 photos. And so I was trying to think, could I make it so that I stretch the sketch, which was created by Ginger from Ginger's Corner. I posted it at the beginning of the video, but you can also see it in the 30 days group, the Facebook, or I guess Facebook page, but also on my Instagram. If you want to pop over there, you can see a better close-up of the sketch as well. And so I was trying to decide if it would be better to stretch it out, and maybe instead of just doing the 3 photos down the right hand side, I could put all 7 on the right hand page, and then on the other page, kind of on that left page, I could do those arrows that she has, and then the little square where she has journaling indicated. I could maybe put the little card that I cut out of one of the pieces of paper and kind of, stretch it into 2 pages. And the more I was playing around with it and pulling papers out, all of these papers come from my How to Kill a Kit with Style kit for the first quarter. So it's a January through to March kit. And so the more I was pulling them out, I didn't really have 2 exact papers, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to do a white background, because at one point I had thought possibly where Ginger put those horizontal arrows, I could cut out strips of white paper and add my journaling kind of as strips going down. And so I didn't know if I wanted to do white, if I was going to have white strips. And you know how you just kind of think, you overthink. And then for me, once I start to actually pull papers out and kind of cut things, then the ideas come flowing. And so I decided I'm just going to go ahead and combine this all into one layout. I will hide a couple of the photos with a little bit of hidden journaling. A lot of the layouts that I'm doing for this year have little interactive elements to them anyways. And so I'm going to go ahead and just make these 4 little pictures, which are just sort of like extra pictures, right? They're those little pictures you take because we all take 25 pictures when maybe only 4 of them were actually kind of necessary, but they're all super cute and you want to scrap every single one of them. And so those 4 pictures were kind of those extras. And so I'm going to use them as extras. They're a little bonus. They're hidden with the journaling in this little pocket that I'm going to create. So that's what I ended up doing. So those 2 pieces of paper that I cut, I just combined them so that I have the wood grain paper as the background, and then that balloon paper. The wood grain paper comes from Simple Stories. I do know that. And that balloon paper, I think it's the crepe paper collection. That was like a birthday themed collection from, probably like 5 years ago, whenever Christy sent me that amazing Happy Mail package that I'm literally still working my way through. This came from that. So I think that was 2019 actually. So the collection is from somewhere around that time. But yes, I just combined those 2 pieces, and then I'm kind of, condensing the sketch rather than stretching it out. And I think that it actually works out really good as one layout because the dimensions of the photos really work well with the dimension of the layout, because where Ginger is working within a 12 by 12 size for her sketch, her photos fit really nicely down that right hand side of the layout. And so here, with my photos being in portrait, or two of them being portrait rather than all landscape, I feel like it definitely accentuates that this particular layout is a rectangle and is longer than it is wider. And so it kind of worked out nice. I think that it gives the same feeling as Ginger's sketch. And then also the card that I cut out, that's from a photo play paper collection, birthday collection. But that card is also a rectangle. And so again, it kind of works, whereas hers is a square to kind of match the dimension of a 12 by 12 piece of paper. Mine is a rectangle, and so it really does kind of work with that rectangular shape to my layout. The one thing it does do is it doesn't quite leave a lot of room for those kind of arrows that she has, and I really struggled to figure out what I was going to do with that. And so I did intentionally plan to do the handwriting kind of journaling on these strips of paper instead of the arrows. But the more that I was putting this all together, I kind of thought to myself that I didn't know if I actually had enough to say about the pictures to fill in a bunch of strips of paper. And especially to have them kind of be featured so prominently on the layout. And it's not that I don't have a ton of things to say about my son, but it's more just that this particular little kind of birthday party that we were having was the family party, and it was just kind of that thing we do every year. And so I feel like sometimes you're repeating the same things year after year. And yeah, I felt like I could maybe use the space for something more interesting than just my own kind of repetitive sentiments about another year has come and gone and stuff like that, because he turned 10. And so I feel like at this point we're already, we've said things over and over again. I could definitely kind of go a lot deeper and more emotional and that kind of stuff, but I tend to keep that stuff hidden more privately. Not all the time, but a lot of times. I tend to kind of hide a lot of that away, especially because I am sharing with you guys on YouTube and stuff. So if there's anything a little bit too personal, I tend to hide that journaling. And so I kind of rethought it in my head. And then when I was going through the papers and I saw those little tags off of that same crepe paper collection from the cut apart sheet, I thought those are kind of fun, and they're horizontal, so they kind of have the same feeling as those arrows. So I might as well go ahead and do that. And so I found the one that says birthday, and then I found one where I could actually write on it. And then I picked some handwritten embellishments from a Simple Stories birthday collection and the 49 and Market chipboard words that you see that say amazing you. Those did come from Shotz, so they're in the store. You can find them there. And then the tag down at the bottom let me write to Sebastian from Mom. And so I got some of my own handwriting that way. And then, of course, you saw me do the little hidden pictures, and I added a tag to the back of those with a little bit of handwriting, just saying like, hey, he turned double digits and he's, a kind, conscientious, hardworking kind of guy, that kind of thing. And then my final handwriting touch is to do this handwritten border. I literally just wrote the lyrics to Happy Birthday all around the border of the layout, and I think it looks so great. It's very understated because I picked a navy blue Sharpie that I knew would kind of blend in. I didn't want it to really pop out. I wanted it to look like a border, and I love doing my sketchy borders, so I thought this was a great way to represent me but also get some handwriting in there. And then my final touches of some mist and some sequins and things like that. And that is it. That is this layout. I actually had a ton of fun putting this together. I'm happy to get day 1 of 30 days underway and March's challenge underway. Please check out all the links down below and follow the playlist for 30 days of sketches. And thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Happy scrapping. Bye.
What about the channel?